So for this week's class, we're going to take a look at intervals and scales, which we talked about earlier, but I want to show you how to approach the assignment. First of all, make sure that you go to the assignment in Classroom. It'll be called Intervals and Scales. And make sure that you go to View Assignment and go to the actual Soundtrap file rather than creating one in Soundtrap to do this. Okay, so I've already created one for you. It's vital that you do it with this one because I'll show you in a minute. Because I have the questions for the assignment are over here in the track names. So for this assignment, you're going to go in and I'm going to do the first one for you, okay? And each track name has a request for a specific thing that I want you to put in to the squares right here. So if you take a look, you'll see that I want a perfect fifth up from C3. And as you go down, you'll start to see major scale from C4, major scale from G3, and major scale from E flat 4. So let's do our first question. So I want to do a perfect fifth up from C3, very basic. Easiest thing to do is just click on the tile here, open up the piano roll, and I like to zoom in to give me a little more space. Okay, that should be good. So C3, so you always start on whatever the first note is here. So it's C3. So I'll take my pen, just pop that in just by clicking there. And the next thing I'm going to do is put in the interval. So I'm asking for a perfect fifth. Now you should have your chart available to know how many half steps are in a perfect fifth. So let's see what those are. It's 7. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I land on G, and if you listen, sounds like a absolute perfect fifth. So let's slide across and just pop that into the grid. It's that simple. Okay, so let's do one with a scale. So I'm going to scroll down a bit. So I'm obviously showing you how to do I'm answering the first questions for you, so I'm making it easy. So here's there will be other intervals for you to put in. And then here's the C scale. So we're just going to click on that. And so this is a major scale from C4. Okay, now you might have to scroll here on the left to find the C4 octave. Okay, but there it is. So I'll put it down at the bottom to give me some room, and I'll start with C. Okay, and then remember, you have to know whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, whole step, meaning whole step and half step for creating a major scale. So let's make our major scale. So if it's whole, whole, half, the first one is going to be whole, which are going to be 2 half steps. So here's my first note, and I go up 1 half step and another half step, and that gives me my second note, which is D. Okay, when you're clicking in here, make sure you pay attention to the little flag popping up. Make sure it's the right note, because sometimes this grid is difficult to see. It's a very low contrast. So let's do another whole step. 1, 2, because we know that's what we're supposed to do. And that should be E. And I'm going to pop that in there. And then a half step. So I only go up 1 this time. So there it is, F. Okay. And F sharp G. Okay. Okay. Then another whole step again. Okay, which is, let's see, that should be A. It's the lighter color grid here. Then B, which is another whole step. Remember, a whole step A, half step B, and then another half step, which will only be 1 up. Another thing is that whole steps are going to skip a line between the intervals, and half steps will not, okay, because they're the closest 2 intervals that we work with in Western music. And you will have your major scale. Now keep in mind that these others are not in C, okay, they're in other keys, okay. this is the only scale that's going to be on all white keys, okay? So let me add one that's not in the list. You don't have to do this. This is just for demo purposes. Let me add one in the list that is not in the, it's not in the key of C, and let you see how that looks. It's still counting up half steps and whole steps the same way, okay? So I'm going to add a grand piano, and this is going to be A flat. This will be an A flat major scale, or a major scale from A flat 4. Okay, very simple. Now I'm just going to click in here to start. I'm going to scroll to get my A flat 4 in view. Okay, now remember you have to know the keys: C, D, E, F, G, A, and then one down is flat. Remember, flat's down, sharp is up, so it'll be A flat. Okay, so that's my first note. Okay, then I go up a whole step, half, half. Okay, then let's do it. Let's do it from here. So I skip a line and go up. Okay, and then you'll see the note pop up. Okay, the next one's a half step, right? So I only go up one line of the grid. Okay, then another whole step. Okay, then another whole step, which will be F. Okay, then G, which is another whole step. So again, I've got whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. That is your major scale, and that's how you do it.